In the quiet countryside of Apulia, Italy, during the early 17th century, a child was born who would one day defy the natural laws of gravity and ascend into legend. Joseph Dessa, later known as Saint Joseph of Cupertino, entered the world in 1603, the son of a poor carpenter. His beginnings were humble, and his future seemed bleak. His father's untimely death left his family destitute, and Joseph grew up amidst ridicule and hardship. He was an awkward, absent-minded boy, often dismissed as slow-witted by those around him. Yet, hidden beneath his apparent simplicity was a deep spiritual yearning and a heart entirely devoted to God. Joseph's childhood was marked by constant humiliation. His clumsiness and lack of academic skills made him a target of scorn. Despite his deficiencies, he felt a strong calling to religious life. He attempted to join the Franciscan order, but was rejected due to his inability to keep up with the rigorous studies and duties required of a friar. Undeterred, Joseph sought admission to the Capuchins, a stricter branch of the Franciscans. They accepted him, but his awkwardness and inability to perform tasks properly soon led to his dismissal. By now, Joseph was a man with few prospects, his dream of serving God seemingly shattered. Yet, fate had a different path for him. After persistent attempts, Joseph was finally accepted as a lay brother at a Franciscan monastery in Cupertino. Assigned menial tasks such as taking care of the stables, Joseph's devotion and humility began to shine through. His time in the monastery revealed an extraordinary spiritual depth. He was often found lost in prayer, oblivious to the world around him. Though his peers initially mocked him, they began to notice something unusual about Joseph's connection to the divine. The turning point in Joseph's life came unexpectedly. During a routine examination for the priesthood, he was asked to interpret a gospel passage. By sheer providence, the examiner selected the one passage Joseph happened to know well. He answered so eloquently that he was deemed fit for ordination. It seemed God had cleared a path for him, and Joseph became a priest. It was after his ordination that the miraculous began to unfold. Joseph developed a reputation for his intense prayer life and ecstatic experiences. On one occasion, during a mass, he became so absorbed in his prayer that he physically lifted off the ground, hovering before the stunned congregation. Reports of his levitation spread quickly, and people began flocking to witness the phenomenon. Over time, Joseph's flights grew more frequent and extraordinary. Witnesses claimed he could soar to great heights and remain suspended in the air for extended periods, particularly when in deep contemplation or overwhelmed by the presence of God. These miraculous events were not without consequence. The Catholic Church, wary of sensationalism and superstition, scrutinized Joseph's abilities. In an age when mysticism often drew suspicion, he was subjected to investigations and even transferred to different monasteries to avoid public uproar. Despite these challenges, Joseph remained humble, obedient, and devout. He never sought attention or fame. His only desire was to serve God and grow closer to Him. One of the most remarkable accounts of Joseph's levitation occurred during an audience with Pope Urban VIII. As the Pope entered the room, Joseph was so overcome with reverence and joy that he rose into the air, much to the astonishment of all present. The event solidified his reputation as the Flying Monk, a title that has endured through the centuries. Joseph's miraculous flights were not the only signs of his sanctity. He was known for his deep compassion, miraculous healings, and ability to console those in despair. Yet, his life was far from easy. His ecstatic experiences often isolated him, as many misunderstood or feared his abilities. He lived a life of penance, humility, and simplicity, embodying the Franciscan ideals to their fullest. In 1663, Joseph of Cupertino passed away, leaving behind a legacy of faith, humility, and wonder. He was canonized in 1767 by Pope Clement XIII, recognized not only for his miraculous gifts, but for his unwavering devotion to God. Today, Saint Joseph of Cupertino is remembered as the patron saint of aviators, astronauts, and students facing difficult exams, a fitting tribute to a man who soared above earthly limitations. The story of Saint Joseph of Cupertino continues to inspire, offering a powerful testament to the transformative power of faith. His life reminds us that even the most unlikely individuals can achieve greatness when they surrender to a higher purpose. To this day, his name evokes a sense of awe, mystery, and the boundless possibilities of the divine.